Level 1. You wake up to a text that feels like a punch. Unrecognized charge. A city you never visited. Your heart skips. Your thumb fumbles the banking app. The number staring back at you is wrong. Not a small mistake. Completely wrong. Your balance reads a calm, steady number you've always trusted, but the alerts tell another story. You scroll. Receipts. Transfers. A pattern that didn't belong to you. Panic moves in like a cold guest. You think mistake. You think glitch. You think, I'll fix this by noon. You do not know the word fracture yet. You do not know how quickly a life can tilt. You picture your rent, the groceries, the car note, everything with numbers attached. You tap call. Your voice is steady at first, then it cracks. You tell them the number. They tell you they see no fraud. The line fills with polite disclaimers. You feel smaller with each scripted syllable. You hang up and breathe. But breathing doesn't fix red flags. It only makes them louder. You open your email, statements, timestamps, two-factor messages you never received, your name, your account, and someone else's pattern carved through it. You close the app like a wound. You whisper, "This cannot be real." And it is. You are now inside a story of theft that smells like betrayal. You do not yet know the rules. You only know the alarm. Level 2, you start digging, not with the casual curiosity of a bored evening. You turn forensic. You pull up every statement from the last 12 months. You trace transactions like fingerprints. There are tiny withdrawals, disguised as routine, subscriptions you never started, transfers to accounts with names that mean nothing. There are deposits too. Small inflows timed to cover the outflows. You're staring at a ledger someone used to tell a different truth. You check your saved pay stubs. Your employer's deposit matches your memory, but there are extra credits labeled payroll adjustment. You zoom in on timestamps, mostly nights. Mostly when you think you were asleep. You think about your last coffee shop visit, your last time you changed passwords. You can feel how close this is. Identity, not just money. Your phone, your email, your login patterns. You sketch the chain. Phishing, skimming, insider access. You speak out loud to the empty room. Who did this? Your mouth tastes of irony. You remember the clerk at the branch who smiled too much. You think about the person who promised to help you set up online banking. You write down names and dates. You print statements. Paper feels real in a world of screens. You lay them out like evidence. This is not about numbers anymore. It's about trust that was sold to you as security. You feel cheated on principle, not just theft, a lie built into the ledger of your life. Level 3. You call the bank again. This time you demand a fraud investigator. You are routed through music that will now haunt you. Hold, then more hold. Voices like soft machinery. When you finally get a person, the voice is practiced. "Listen, ma'am, sir, we understand. We will look into it. Please allow 5 to 7 business days." 5 to 7 business days? Those words are a cliff. You picture your account as a canyon. While they look, the cliff grows. You insist on immediate freeze. No one can move money until you say so. They pivot. Protocols. Safety checks. We will need to verify your identity. You provide details that feel invasive. Your childhood street. The name of your first pet. You recite passwords like prayers. They ask about recent travel. You answer truthfully. They ask about devices used to access the account. You recount every phone, every laptop. They say they'll escalate. Escalate sounds like a good thing. You sleep badly that night. Every creak makes you open your eyes. You check your email on your way to the bathroom. An automated message. Investigation opened. Case number attached. You pin it to your mental board like a talisman. Then you notice a separate email. A login to your bank from a device listed as new. Timestamp while you slept. You are awake now. You do not close your eyes again. Level 4. You find an IP address. It is far away. It is not overseas. It's in the same state. You map the coordinates. Proximity makes it worse. You call the number tied to that account. No answer. You trace and trace. The smell of paper returns. You take the printed statements to a branch. The teller raises an eyebrow at your stack. You demand to speak to a manager. Confrontation is kinetic. You feel your body aligned to a single point. Retrieval. The manager listens, then disappears into back rooms. They come back with a folder of forms. You sign things that strip you naked of convenience. Temporary holds. New accounts. Notarized statements. They ask for ID again, as if the world required proof of being you. You hand it over like armor. You leave the branch lighter. Less access, less ease, more safety. You call the fraud hotline again. This time they say, "We found suspicious patterns tied to multiple households." You are not alone. Relief comes like static. You are one of many, but your rent is due. Your boss will call tomorrow. You are told to file a police report. You go to the precinct on a warm Tuesday. The detective writes slowly. He does not look surprised. He has seen the ledger of lies before. He gives you a number and a glimmer of process. You sleep with the detective's card under your pillow. It is both ridiculous and sacred. You wake to a page of legal terms and a random stranger's name on your account. They archived everything. You breathe, and it doesn't fix the balance. Level 5. You file disputes. You create a paper trail that becomes your weapon. You send notarized letters and certified mail. Every response is a layer of bureaucracy. You learn the language of restitution, chargebacks, reversals, credit freezes. Every term becomes a small victory. Your phone is a tool and a prison. Notifications scream progress and setbacks. Days elongate. You call credit bureaus, fraud alert, extended fraud alert, credit freeze. You memorize their hold music. You wait for results like a boxer waiting for a second wind. Your bank apologizes with a template. They promise to refund provisional amounts, but the checks are slow. Temporary credits appear, then vanish when paperwork arrives incomplete. You realize the system privileges patience, and you have bills due now. Desperation makes you call your mother. You feel ashamed and grateful at once. She asks the question you cannot answer, "Who would do this?" You do not know. You file police reports, dispute forms, identity theft affidavits. You print and scan and mail again. You learn the locations of local offices. You sit in small, sterile rooms and tell your story to different people, each retelling phrase you a little, then knits a little stronger thread. You find one human who fights with you, an investigator who believes. That belief is currency. You attach to it like a life raft. Level 6. Weak stretch. Sometimes progress is a single return deposit. Sometimes it is a denial that tastes like ash. Your work performance dips. You answer questions about late payments you did not make. You sign affidavits for landlords and lenders. Friends ask, "Did you click something? Were you careless?" Their faces hold tiny accusations. You understand the logic. You replay every click. You become audit obsessed. You change every password. You enable hardware keys. You throw out devices you suspect. You learn to read emails like x-rays. You delete anything that smells like ease, but insurance is incomplete. Your credit score dips for reasons you cannot control. Loan offers evaporate. You are turned down for that trip you planned. You are denied a new phone contract. You bargain with the universe and lose. Anger becomes a raw fuel. You channel it into calls and paperwork. You post a calm, concise thread on social media. You warn others without sounding hysterical. Messages of support flood in. Strangers share similar stories. A pattern emerges, small accounts farm to create cover, then a big pull. You repost evidence to a consumer journalist. A reporter dials. Suddenly your story has a public spine. The bank moves faster when lights are on them. The investigator tells you, keep everything you have? They say the thief might be in a ring. You imagine faces behind screens. You imagine families unaware of the ledger they fund. Hope feels like a risky bet. Still, you hold on. Level 7. Months later, a letter arrives. A provisional refund. It's not everything, but it is a start. An apology that feels like a half-truth. You close accounts. You open new ones with biometric gates and absurdly long passwords. You meet with a lawyer for the first time. They walk you through next steps. Civil suit, tracking, possible restitution. You weigh cost versus closure. You choose to reclaim your life, not only your money. You start rebuilding credit like building a house from a scarred foundation. You enroll in credit monitoring. You teach yourself the rules the banks never teach you. You organize workshops with neighbors. You tell your story with blunt sentences. You want them to know how the machine smells when it chews a life. You keep a folder, a digital and a paper one. You never let go of that detective's card. It becomes a relic of survival. You still flinch at banking emails, but you also feel stronger. You learn to translate opacity into terms you can fight. You learned your own agency. You learned to name the lie, and you learned how to make institutions uncomfortable in their hurry. You make calls on behalf of others. You speak at a town hall. You ask for transparency. You demand better fraud detection and faster restitution. You are not the same person who woke to that text. You are angrier, wiser, and quieter. You don't romanticize the loss. You talk about it plainly. The final line in your folder reads, keep records, escalate early, speak loud. You close the book and breathe. The ledger still whispers, but you now write your own entries. You are not helpless. You are not a number on a screen. You are a handler of your life. You let others know to watch. You teach them how to see the lie before it lands. You keep the light on.